Hello, my name is Eric. I am from Mexico, specifically from Oaxaca. I am here to tell you a little bit about what happened on May 31. Here in our region, with the arrival of Hurricane Agatha, Category 2, the population knew that it is coming. The government had already told us many days in advance of its arrival. But the hurricane was moving very slowly, so much so that the people of the community got desperate, saying, okay, is it going to come or not? And there were even memes of desperate people wanting the hurricane to come. When the hurricane came on May 31, it was already kind of an expected hurricane. The hurricane actually took a different trajectory than all hurricanes. 3 or 4 days before its arrival here, it was almost above Acapulco, which is a tourist destination further north. It's 500 kilometers to the north. But it swerved east and turned back to the south, which hurricanes usually don't do. And it hit just 30 kilometers from here, from Huatulco, a place called La Redonda, and another town called San Pedro Pochutla. It was right there where the eye of the hurricane hit. It should be noted that Huatulco, where we live, is a town fully planned before there were roads. The Mexican government came and said, here we are going to establish a tourist center. And everything was planned before there was a population. So the urban center, which is the tourist destination Huatulco, is very difficult to be affected by this type of a natural phenomena. But all around Huatulco, the tourist center, there are a lot of people living in different locations which we have here. There are a lot of people living in the riverbanks, many people living on the slopes of the mountains. All the population of these areas was really affected. The winds of this hurricane were 165 kilometers per hour. In Zipolite, Mazunte, Puerto Angel, it tore roofs off the houses, especially houses with metal sheet roofs. It is worth mentioning that Oaxaca, the state where we live, is one of the 3 poorest states in the country. So most of the people here live in houses made of wood or metal sheets because they cannot afford more. In 1997, there was Paulina, a Category 5 hurricane. In fact, Agatha was here in this area. It was more devastating than Paulina. We do not understand why this Category 2 hurricane had more impact this time than a hurricane Category 5 more than 20 years ago. The theories that we create ourselves. I hope I am not wrong that in the higher parts of this area, beginning in the Sierra, there is a lot of deforestation of pine trees for wood. So the slopes of the rivers have possibly been affected. It was devastating in the surrounding areas. Thank God, nothing happened to my family and myself. We live in an area a little more protected or sheltered from this type of incident. But I know families and friends that even lost their property, their houses, their cars, because they never thought that the rivers were going to overflow, that the sea waves would hit so strongly some houses that were very close to the shore, and they lost. There are many, many people who lost everything. And unfortunately, there are families who lost their relatives. They lost dear ones. Not far from here, there was a case of a father and a little boy who were carried away by the river. And the little boy was apparently found already dead, and the father still missing. His body has not yet been found. The government is still looking for him. It seems that there are 10 people dead, unfortunately, with this hurricane, and there are still 20 people missing. Well, they are missing, but almost everybody knows that they are not going to come back. So yes, we can practically talk about 30 people who unfortunately lost their lives. And 30 families lost loved ones. It is important. There are hundreds of families that lost their homes. They lost everything. They were left with nothing but the clothes they were wearing. And the truth is that with all this, I also want to thank the Mexican government in some way, who have supported us in this situation. They attended very quickly and effectively. It is also the first time that the support has arrived directly to the communities. I don't know if anyone from Mexico City has been there, but there used to be a fund called the National Disaster Fund throughout Mexico. But a disaster would happen, and the fund never arrived. So where did they go? Well, the people who were in charge of distributing this money or this support unfortunately kept it for themselves. Now the government, the new government, has tried to make things more transparent. For the first time, the government has brought refrigerators, stoves, mattresses, and had distributed them to the families that lost everything. Something impressive was also the support of the community itself. It reacted really fast. The next day of the hurricane, they were already distributing supplies to the people who lost everything. Clothes, food. And it was impressive. When we went to the shopping centers to buy food and take it to someone, there were a lot of people buying. A lot of people making supplies to take to their neighbors, to those who lost everything, to take to acquaintances, to take to people that they didn't even know, but we really knew that they had had a hard time that night. And then, little by little, the government also became active but I am grateful to the people of the area. Here, for example, there are many mining companies, and mining companies that come from other countries. It seems that there are many mining companies from Canada. Well, we know that these companies pollute unimaginable quantities of water. So, if it really is, it's contradictory that sometimes the government gives permits to these companies to work in this area and pollute the rivers. We can begin to treat water as a very valuable resource, and even more valuable than gold, than oil, and than other minerals. Without water, we can't do anything. Without water, we practically cannot live. So, yes, we do need to save the resources in order to make sure that the new generations, our children, our grandchildren, have this resource for their survival. Well, then, I would like to tell you that we need to take care of the environment. Here, we lost our acquaintances, we lost our families, we lost our friends, and that cannot be recovered. Somebody's life, the life of an individual, is something that cannot be recovered. There are hundreds of families that lost their homes. They lost their hard-earned equity, but they are still alive, which is the most important thing. Others are not, unfortunately, and that is what really matters: life. The life of a human being is what we must strive for more than anything material. We can improve our life. We can do our part to have a better world. We need to have a better world. We must give life to it, give it a new breath. We must give to our planet Earth a new turn.
We invite eyewitnesses of climate disasters, as well as anyone who has specific knowledge of such events, to be interviewed. Please contact us, share your story. For the whole world to know the truth, participation of every person is important.